So this is vlog number 2. Welcome. Super feedback about vlog number 1. Really excited. On this episode, I want to talk about 2 things. What is a startup for me and how I pick them and select them to be featured on the startup show. I would like to talk about the definition, and it's a very subjective definition of what I believe a startup is. So please comment below in the comment section, whether on YouTube or Facebook, and let me know if you agree or disagree with the definition, or if there's something I should be adding to it. So in my definition, I decided to use characteristics that define a startup. So I have about 5. I recently added the 6th one. So number 1, it should be young. If it exists for hundreds of years, it's probably not a startup anymore. Many people get confused between startup and startup culture. But for me, a startup has to be young. There's always some kind of uncertainty involved. Usually it's a valuation based on the future, based on the expectations that investors have towards the entrepreneurs. But there's always a much higher risk involved than, let's say, if you invested your money in the stock market to low risk stock. That's number 2. Number 3, there is always an innovative part of the trade. So the innovation can be within, let's say, the execution. It can be within the business model. It can be the platform. There's all kinds of ways how you can be innovative, but there has to be some kind of innovative approach to it. Number 4, digitalization. So like today, if you're building a company, it's so important to keep in mind that you have to work together with the internet. It has to be digital, you have to be online, you have to automate as much as possible, because otherwise, which is my 5th point, the scalability will be very, very hard. If you cannot automate things, then it's going to be really hard for you to grow your business successfully, sustainable over the long time. The 6th point, which I recently added to my definition, which is not in the slides when you go on the website and listen to the Google speech, it's about financials. So like, yes, I see a lot of startups and I get a lot of startup requests of people who want to hear my advice and inputs and everything, and I love to do that, but like so many people forget about the financials. Now, don't get me wrong, you have to take a certain amount of risk, but you have to be aware that at some point in the future, whether it's a year, whether it's 5 years or 10 years, you have to be able to make money. And that's so important, and many startups forget that. And I will be including this more and more often into my criteria when I select startups. When all of these is given, when all of the 5 or 6 points of the definition of a startup is given, then they have a very good chance of being featured on my show. What's maybe important is that maybe you're asking yourself, like, where do I get the startups from? So there are 2 main sources. Number 1 is like either people reach out to me, which happens more and more often over the last few weeks. And number 2 is that we reach out to them. Now for us, one of the conditions to be featured on the startup show is that you have to send me a pitch deck. Just because like I had some experiences with people who one morning woke up and thought they had the greatest idea, but that's just too early. So we have to have some kind of track record or be able to tell that you're actually working on this and it's not just a project that you haven't even started working on it yet. Thank you very much for tuning in today for episode 2 of my personal vlog. Thank you very much for taking the time. I hope you got some insights into how I choose and why I choose a startup for the startup show, but also you got to see how I picked up the car from Jeep for our carpool series, which is coming up in January. Now, make sure to leave some kind of comment below so I understand whether you liked it or not, and hit that subscribe button so you get updated and notified next time I upload another video. Thank you very much and have a great day. Bye.